again. Today we have one of the busiest big match programmes that I can ever remember. And amongst other things, we shall be having a good look forward to next week's Football League Cup final at Wembley. Something, of course, for all you Spurs fans, as we take stock of your opponents there, Aston Villa.
The men of Aston Villa, this week at Gig Lane, Bury, next week at Wembley Stadium.
Yes, Villa's match at Bury, but two other games as well. Our main match, which brings Terry Neal and Hull City to London to face Queen's Park Rangers.
Marsh going hard in on it. Marsh! Oh, against the crossbar by Rodney Marsh.
And Stoke against Chelsea.
The cross, Conroy!
And still with the League Cup final in mind, our guests today are from Aston Villa. On the right, club captain George Curtis. With him, the former Leicester City star, David Gibson. Your letters, and we ask, were Brentford robbed in the FA Cup at Hull last Saturday? But let's get on with the action now, with Hull's performance yesterday, Queen's Park Rangers against Hull, and this really turns out to be a skillful and exciting second division match. For Rangers, of course, it's been a disappointing season, and on their form here, it's very hard to understand why. And for this match, they have a lot of names, of course, that you would know well, like Rodney Marsh at 10, Terry Venables at 4, but a young man who really has made a big impression over the last few months is their goalkeeper, Philip Parks, the man they got from Walsall, and he really maintains his reputation in this match. Loftus Road is not the easiest place for visitors, of course, but Hull City have a good away record, and with a place in the 6th round of the Cup, their confidence must be high. So much of this inspiring revival of theirs is down, of course, to their new player-manager, Terry Neal, backed by the experience up front of men like Ken Houghton, nearly 200 appearances, Chris Chilton, the number 9, 400 games, and Ken Wagstaff, number 10, 250, and winger Ian Butler, over 200 games in a Hull shirt. The referee today, Mr. Corbett from Staffordshire, and now these young Rangers fans are waiting for the start.
So Rangers in their familiar blue hoops, defending the goal to our right, get us away against Hull City. A team challenging so strongly towards the first division. Hull 3rd, Queen's Park Rangers, who on the whole have had a disappointing season, 15th. Although Rangers were unbeaten in 5 previous games before they lost up at Carlisle, 3-0 last week. There's Venables with a free kick. Leach looking to get underneath it. Marsh now on his body. Still Marsh. Venables coming in quickly. Francis playing it off for Ferguson. And a flick through there by Ferguson. And Ian McKechnie, former Arsenal goalkeeper. In fact, they got him on a free transfer from Southend. Chilton trying to get underneath this one, but Ron Hunt there first, only as far as Banks. Banks now to Lord. Banks. Played wide for Chilton. Banks again, the full-back who stayed up there. Lord, a little clip through there. Greenwood right in there. Long kick there by Phil Parks. Wilkinson missed it, and Marsh is there. Looks as though he might cause trouble to Ferguson. Marsh ready for that rebound. Venables. Marsh. Nonchalantly there, pushed back for Clement. De Vries has got to get underneath this one. Marsh going hard in on it. Marsh! Oh, against the crossbar by Rodney Marsh. And still Hull getting themselves into awful tangles in defence. Some elbowing there, giving Hull a bit of respite, and Marsh a little disappointed, and with every reason. The rain beginning to come down again into the faces of Hull City, and they got plenty coming their way at the moment. Rangers throw. Rangers, who are always so difficult to beat at Loftus Road, they've won their last 2 games at Loftus Road against Sunderland and Oxford. Francis got that back very well. Ian Morgan. Francis again. And a throw to Hull. Billy Wilkinson. Watson to Marsh. Venables, a little flick through. Leach is on this one. trying to run it on, pushed away, no penalty given, nothing given. Venables, Leach, and Wilkinson to get this one away. A really competitive opening quarter of an hour, but no score. And Hull almost constantly on the receiving end. Marsh was through, but the whistle had gone. The advantage wasn't played. A free kick to Rangers. McKechnie still feels he's got plenty to smile about. And certainly he's putting a brave face on the troubles that have come his way. And the chant of Rodney going up as Venables takes this free kick for Rangers. Leach looking after it, and Morgan touching it down there, and McKechnie somehow got a hand to it. Very nearly nipped there on the blind side, Ian Morgan. Wagstaff. Oh, with Chilton right up with him too, still Ken Wagstaff. Greenwood lurking also. Played for Butler, and now for Lord. Oh, what a good save by Parks. What a very good save by Phil Parks. Fully deserving that pat on the head from Malcolm Lord, and that would have been his first goal of the season for Lord. And that really took a superb save by Parks. No wonder they're tipping Parks for England under-23 honours around Loftus Road. Here comes the corner. There's Parks waiting for it again. Flicked away, though, as far as Morgan. And the throw given to Queen's Park Rangers. Terry Neal optimistically taking it for Hull. Quite sincerely thinking, I suppose, that it was his, by the way he was having a word with the referee. Francis, who's looking very good indeed this afternoon. Francis again. But Venables close at hand if he wants him. It doesn't look as though he needs him at the moment. My goodness, there was a bit of a ricochet as well off a Hull defender. Was a little bit fortunate off Wilkinson. Clement now going through. Clement still going through. Will he get a shot in? Will he get another shot in? Oh, good play there by De Vries. My goodness. The number 3 saved Hull there from Clement. Young Roger De Vries, who only came into the side in the first game of this season. The corner quickly taken. Leach trying to get onto it at the near post. Clements, who went stumbling forward, picking himself up, stumbling forward again. Finally beaten by fine defensive play by De Vries. There's Terry Neal getting a hit to it. Lord. And Banks belting that one forward for Chilton. Now Sibley to Francis. Marsh. Oh, superbly turned in by Marsh. Playing that for Ferguson, who needed to strike that first time. Playing it just a little too close. And Hull, I would think, delighted to get out of that spot of bother as well. Greenwood for them. Frank Banks. Wagstaff coming back now. Banks again. Butler on this side of the field, nodding it in to look for Chilton. Sibley to Ferguson. Didn't quite come off. Lord to Chilton. Chilton going on, beating one and another, and Houghton going in. Down goes Parks once more. Leach up well. Leach winning a lot of balls in the air for Rangers. Morgan now to Jerry Francis. De Vries struggling to keep with him as well. Turn back there now. Can Morgan turn on it? A corner. Made for him again by for Ian Morgan here, by young Jerry Francis. Ferguson then will take the corner again for Queen's Park Rangers. Morgan getting ahead to this one as well. Neal to nod it away. Wagstaff and Butler. Francis again. What a good ball again by Francis. This time Ferguson stopped, but Rangers throw. Crossed again there for Marsh at the far side. Marsh! There it is! The coolness of Rodney Marsh. And the goalkeeper coming right out, McKechnie, to argue with the referee, and he's getting himself into trouble. He thought there was an infringement there in that 6-yard area, and that's something we shall have to look at again more closely later in the programme, but the cross was there, and Marsh was waiting for it at the far side, and Marsh was there with inimitable coolness to whack it in for Rangers' first goal. So Rangers ahead, Hull far from happy, and certainly McKechnie isn't, but Marsh has put them, Rangers, a goal ahead. Now Butler. Wagstaff. Banks. Sibley with the throw. Clement. And now Ferguson. A little cross there, but he's played it a little too near the goalkeeper, even for the willing Leach. Now Paddy Greenwood. What a strong player Greenwood is. Butler. Fair looking cross there. Houghton trying to get on it. And Ron Hunt to get that one away again. As far as Banks. Cross once more into that Rangers penalty area. Chilton trying to get on the end of it. But once more it's Hunt. Ferguson. Banks again, the number 2. To Chilton. And Ferguson just to touch it into touch. Hull's throw, Lord with it. Banks. Lord. Banks coming away now for Hull City. This could be dangerous for Rangers. It's a corner. And as we've played over 2.5 minutes of injury time, there really isn't going to be very much time for them to take it. Neil going right up. And Mick Leach, of course, coming right back with him, which makes it a very crowded penalty area. There's the corner. Clement getting it away, but only as far as Banks. Played wide and sensibly there for Butler once more. Leach. Ferguson. Oh, not a good pass there by Ferguson. Straight to Wagstaff. And Greenwood offside on the far side. But in fact, although the linesman was waving furiously for offside, the referee said I was also in line, and I say not offside. He allowed the play to go on, and that gives the corner then to Hull City. Greenwood with it. Neil right up there. Almost submerged finally by a combination of Leach and Parks. And the half-time whistle goes with Rangers ahead after a very exciting first half indeed, with a lot of good goal-mouth incidents. The only goal, though, scored by the Queen's Park Rangers number 10, Rodney Marsh, the inimitable Marsh. Still to come on the big match this afternoon. Highlights from Stoke against Chelsea and from Bury against the Football League Cup finalist Aston Villa. The half-time score here at Loftus Road, Queen's Park Rangers 1, Hull City 0. We should be back with you in just a couple of minutes. So it's Hull then to get us away at the start of the second half in their golden shirts, defending the goal to our right. A goal down, and judging by Rangers' form in the first half, a good deal to do in this second half. Banks straight away for them. Hull have been beaten only once in their last 8 games. That's the sort of form that takes you right up to the top of the table. But here's Ferguson to Leach. And Greenwood in very quickly there for Hull City. Hunt getting in a foot, but only finding Wagstaff. And Wagstaff straining to get to that one because he could see that Butler was free down the left for him. Francis, Venables. And Wilkinson for Hull. Watson to Morgan. Good play by Morgan to Marsh. Oh, beautiful play by Marsh there. And quite rightly, I would have thought, getting frustrated and irritated by the way that Terry Neal was grappling onto him, and the referee having a word with Terry Neal. Marsh was furiously going away as Neal was attacking him from the back. But one can also understand Marsh's frustration, trying to wriggle away, with Neal physically holding him back. Simply with the free kick. Marsh again. Marsh backing into Neal there, doing a silly thing, 2 of them. And the referee there watching very closely indeed. Neal having a word with him as they went, simply to nod it away. Offside given against Ken Wagstaff. And clearly Rodney Marsh against Terry Neal is going to be a very interesting confrontation in this second half. Crowd showing quite clearly who they are behind. Predictably Rodney Marsh. Greenwood to Houghton. Chris Chilton. Butler trying for all he was worth to keep it in. Ian Butler. Ian Watson. Giving Francis no chance, and so it's Hull's throw. Roger De Vries with it. Butler. Back to Terry Neal. Getting the boos from the crowd. And of course, you mustn't do that sort of thing to their favourite, Rodney Marsh. Ron Hunt to get that one away. Oh, and here is Marsh away. Onside, flicking it by Wilkinson. Still going on. A flick there for Leach. Oh, saved by McKechnie. Beautiful little break there by Marsh. A delightful little pass there for Leach. And a fine and a brave save by this man, Ian McKechnie. That really would have been a wonderful goal. Ferguson. Venables clipping it in again. Marsh there looking for it. And Neal attacking him hard. But this time the referee has awarded a free kick against Marsh for backing in on Neal. And Wagstaff, in fact, getting ahead to that one. Chilton very quickly onto it, but even quicker off his line was Parks. Very good header on by Wagstaff. Ferguson. Wilkinson. Lord to Banks. Chilton. Might be just a little too hard. Yes, it is for Lord. So a goal kick. Well, of course, Hull left it very late last week in the Cup against Brentford with 2 goals in the last 9 minutes. They might well be facing the same sort of situation this afternoon. Still this goal down with 10 minutes of the second half gone. Lord. De Vries. Houghton hoping to get under this one. Nodded on nicely there for Wagstaff. Oh, what a save! What a save from Wagstaff by Phil Parks. 2 absolutely brilliant saves we've seen from this fellow this afternoon. That was Gordon Banks' class, and no mistake about it. Butler with the corner. And now Houghton to bang one, and a deflection that wasn't very far away. Deflection off a Rangers defender, Another corner. And Terry Neal right up on that goal line. Right on that Rangers goal line in front of Phil Parkes. There he is. Butler with a corner, a low one. Francis not getting it very far away. De Vries quite sensibly pumping it back again. And Neal offside. Well, people were telling me before the game today that Phil Parkes must be in line for an under-23 cap. And you tended to think, well, I don't know, that's perhaps Rangers people talking. But he's brought out 2 saves this afternoon, which were sheer magic. Marsh. Wilkinson. And with Hull a bit by bit coming more and more into this game, I would think the Parkes might have a fair bit more to do this afternoon yet. Clement doing a silly thing there, putting it into touch and trying to keep it away. There's Parkes organising the defence, and it's Chilton with the throw. Looks like he might be trying a long one, the way he's cleaning that ball off. No, it wasn't. Clement to Francis. Might have got that away a little more definitely than that. But Butler couldn't control it. Morgan now. Nicely played inside by Ian Morgan to Ian Watson. Greenwood. Sibley in. Rangers finding they've got to defend very hard at the moment. Greenwood. Pumped again towards Houghton. Houghton on his foot, on his knee. A little pass to Chilton. Clement watching him. Back to Banks, first time in again. Houghton hoping to get onto this one. And Butler's right in there too. Houghton and Butler between them, getting in each other's way. Still Butler. Now Greenwood. Now to De Vries. Rangers really under pressure now. Houghton right in there too. Sibley trying to get it away. Finally to Morgan. And now to Ferguson. Morgan to Ferguson. And now to Venables. Played wide for Francis. Wanting to take on De Vries. Flicking it wide there for Venables. Little chip which hasn't quite come off. Hunt, well controlled. De Vries, also well controlled and taking perhaps a little too long over it. Finds Wagstaff. On he goes, Wagstaff. Houghton with him, Chilton with him as well. And so too is Lord. Chilton spending more and more time on that right touchline, low and hard. Wagstaff with a real chance here. Down he goes. This, he's given the penalty. Referee Corbett hesitated for a moment and then pointed to that penalty. Wagstaff brought down. He clearly pointed to the spot. And a penalty to Hull City. Wagstaff, the number 10, brought down. Terry Neal. Bit of gamesmanship there by Dave Clements, who's wandered into the area. Now Phil Parkes, his biggest test of the afternoon, facing Terry Neal. Because if Hull can get a point here, it's going to be a precious point. He won't have taken many more important kicks this. Now we have it from behind the goal, a beautiful view. As Neal tries for the penalty. Oh, and he's missed it! What must go through his mind now? Missing the penalty. Rangers fans onto the field. And he's beaten a policeman, he's beaten a steward, and Terry Neal has beaten himself. McCulloch. Venables to Marsh. Oh, what a beautiful drag back by Marsh. And McCulloch fractionally offside. They haven't heard the whistle, but it's gone. And it's going again and again. And it's a free kick to Hull. throw to Hull. Nearly a minute of injury time gone. Lord really needs to cross it if he's going to do anything for Hull. He's got to get into that Rangers penalty area. Here's Lord again, and a corner. The linesman indicating to the referee on the far side that the time is up according to his watch. Here comes the corner. So many Hull players are up for it as well. Hunt getting it away, but only as far as Wilkinson. Banks there to try and hammer it through, and Wagstaff, and a goal! Right at the very end by Wagstaff. Right at the very end. Parks, with his short tone, can do nothing about it. Well, nobody in this field can be more relieved than Terry Neal, having missed the penalty. And so, as I say, with nearly 2 minutes of injury time gone, Hull draw level for what really could be a vital point for them. Now Ferguson. And a free kick given against Hull City. Taking rather a long time about it. I say Wagstaff seemed an interminable time there before he finally put it home, but he did. Venables there, now Marsh. Still Marsh, down he goes. Play on, says the referee. Watson pumping it straight back again in the direction of Marsh once more. But a free kick given against Marsh for Hull City. And the final whistle goes before McKechnie. This brilliant somersault by McKechnie. And a great comeback, I suppose, by Hull. Terry Neal having missed the penalty, but Rodney Marsh there, the number 10, having put Rangers ahead in the first half. And then after 2 minutes of injury time right at the end of the game, the other number 10, Ken Wagstaff, drawing level for Hull City. So the final score here at Loftus Road, Queen's Park Rangers 1, Hull City 1.
So a point right at the very end then for Hull City. And still to come on the big match programme for you today, Spurs' chances in the Football League Cup final next Saturday. Were Brentford robbed in the FA Cup last Saturday? And also action from Stoke against Chelsea. Now, before we look in more detail at the QPR Hull game, let's first of all have a word from Terry Neal, the Hull player-manager, who had some hard things to say yesterday about Rangers fans.
I'm beginning to hate London now after having spent so many happy years with Arsenal. I can't understand it, really. I can understand now that we're near the top of the division, people want to beat us, but quite honestly, some of the language from the crowds, I had the same at Orient for some reason or other, and it's there's no other word for it but disgraceful.
The Rangers crowd were bad on you today, were they?
Well, I can understand a few of them, Barrican, but some of them were absolutely vicious.
You disputed Rodney Marsh's goal?
Absolutely. There were 3 occasions in which Rodney just pushed the ball forward with his hand.
And this was one of them when he scored?
Definitely, definitely.
Well, strong words there from Terry Neal. I think, if anything, a little too strong. To me, Rangers fans are about the same as any other fans. I think it might well be that Terry himself is under a lot of pressure. Of course, as player, a manager of a team that's going hard for promotion to the First Division, and of course still very much in the FA Cup. That may well have coloured Terry's views just a little. But was it handball by Rodney Marsh? Rodney himself told me afterwards, I'm not going to say. But what he would say was that he felt that he might even have been offside. Views now from Jimmy Hill.
Well, I think because of the position of our camera, the case for handball doesn't stand up very much. But the case for offside, I think, does. Rodney always provides something for us when we put our television cameras on him, and this week he's provided an argument. We'll have a look at it now, that first goal. Rodney Marsh lurking in the 6-yard box there, and you can decide, first of all, whether it's handball. Now, just watch his position there. Is that offside? There's no other Hull defender out of picture. Now, did he handle it? Is that been brought down by the right hand? I reckon it was a bit of the knee, perhaps one of the fingers, and a good chance of it being offside. But anyway, whatever happened, the referee had no doubts and the linesman had no doubts, and that was a goal. And this is how Hull equalised just at the end of the game. There's Wilkinson who wins the run to the ball, and Paddy Greenwood, who I was a bit impressed with as a wing half, hard and low there, good control by Wagstaff. Watch how he commits the goalkeeper there. He's out of the way now. It took agonies for Hull supporters yesterday, those that were there. They thought he was never going to put it in the net, but it was really a brilliant bit of skill. But then, of course, the penalty incident, which we've looked at and we're rather surprised about, because yesterday it did look a penalty. Now watch carefully, in slow motion. Do you think he actually brought him down there, or do you think he fell? So there we are. There's the penalty. That was the thing that brought it about. But it also showed us one of the magic moments, one of the very strange moments that our camera picked up behind the goal. I want you to watch now as Terry Neal takes this penalty. The man I want you to look at is Terry Venables, number 4, Queen's Park Rangers captain. Terry's under strain as player-manager taking this penalty, but look at, see that left hand of Venables, and as Terry Neal looks round, he puts it back on his head, because he's going to signal to Phil Parkes, watch him now, that the ball is going to go to that side of the goal. Mind you, look where it goes. He didn't know how right he was going to be, but it shows you the cunning of the professional footballers in 1970. Their brain working all the while. Terry Venables, completely right, in fact. But that game yesterday for me was a wonderful second division game. I don't think I've ever seen quite as many skills, artistic skills, in a game in that division yesterday, and the players should take credit for it. First of all, we pick up Wagstaff and the understanding he has with Chilton. Look at the speed of that ball and the accuracy of it there. Not too good a shot, but nevertheless they're a dangerous combination. But the young man who impressed me very much yesterday was Jerry Francis. Full of running, full of drive, acceleration. He wants to go for goal. Look at him going there, and that shot sweeping past the post. And he seems to have learned a lot from Rodney Marsh. What about that little touch? Francis doing the running, and all Marsh's delicate skill. I was very impressed with the way one is learning from the other. And now we see Francis again running, and watch how this time, again the position's reversed. What about that skill from Marsh? It comes across the field now, and we get a chance to pick up Ferguson's dribbling skill. But once again, it's Marsh's passing ability, Ferguson's control. Ball's picked up in the middle of the field by Rodney. Sees Francis on the wing. Beautiful control. Comes inside. Always an eye for goal. That time he's accurate. In fact, too accurate. But now we see Rodney, where everybody likes to see him, flashing for goal. Now look at that skill, and look at this layoff with his left foot. And the goalkeeping of McKechnie as he makes what looked to be a certain goal into a corner. And Rodney's face shows what he feels about that. And while we're on goalkeepers, our camera behind the goal shows the ability of Phil Parkes. One of the best saves I've seen for a long, long time. There's the shot, just in the wrong part. And Parkes, it's low, but he gets across and somehow managed to put it past the goal. And the final save, which also shows again the striking power and the understanding of Wagstaff and Chilton. And look at that ball bouncing. What a good half volley that is. And it's right in the top right-hand corner of the goal. But Parkes is there and equal to it. A wonderful game of football.
Yes, I'm sure we all enjoyed ourselves down at Loftus Road yesterday. But now we come on to our second match today, and it's, of course, the last game that Aston Villa play before they come to Wembley next Saturday to face the Spurs in the Football League Cup final. A match, of course, that is exclusive to ITV. You can see it next Sunday. Yesterday, of course, it was Bury against Aston Villa up there at Gig Lane. The pictures come with our thanks from Granada, the commentators Gerald Sinstadt, and Bury here. They're the team wearing the white shirts.
Pulled back a little too far, but very cunningly helped on by Murray, and out of it, Bury get a corner. Goalmouth there looking pretty muddy, and it might well be that it won't be too easy for goalkeeper Dunn to get up to the high balls. Could well find that he'll have difficulty keeping his feet. He's coming for this one now, and he didn't get up very well, and it's in! Scored by Murray! Or by Jones. Jones the scorer! George Jones putting Bury ahead after 6 minutes. Eccleshare to take it. Coming into the sun, and a good header from White. Rudd stayed on his edge. Dunn stayed on his line and did the right thing. Tinney. Now Murray, this looks promising for Berry. To Connelly, got White on his left. Jones at the back of the penalty area, but that cross hanging a little bit in the wind. McDermott coming in and not winning the ball, and so Villa bring it away. I watch a minute to go to half-time. We'll have a little bit of injury time added on, probably. Hamilton for Villa. Villa could really do with a goal here. This is a man who could score it too. And Lockhead nearly slid it in by the near post. Very smart bit of work by Lockhead. Everybody watching Hamilton. And some brave goalkeeping by John Forrest. White beating Turnbull in the air. And White again. Tom White did well to get above Turnbull for the header, and when Jones was blocked, it was again White who was quick to see the chance. Rioch. Good interception by McDermott again. And Jones.
More problems for Villa in the second half.
Looked as though he'd run himself into trouble, but he's just taken 2 men out. Rudd still going. And now Connelly, Rudd, and he scored! Really quite extraordinary goal, but certainly well deserved. Lee Anderson is going to take it. Lockhead's header, and in off Allen or in off McMahon, but certainly a goal. That long cross to the far post, finding Andy Lockhead. John Connelly with another corner. And there it is! Jones really must have scored there. He was, 4 feet from the line, no more. Swung at it, and goalkeeper Dunn's body was in the way. Bradley putting it out to Anderson. Lockhead calling for one, but nobody has seen his call. Villa being forced back, and they've lost the initiative for the moment. And now they've lost the ball as well. McDermott to Rudd. Jones really stretching his legs, long striding player, very long pace. And there's a good cross, and there's a good goal! What a very good goal indeed! Bringing young boys onto the field, which is not to be encouraged, but certainly to be understood.
So the Villa were beaten, but they're on their way to Wembley to prove it. They've even brought out their own brochure, Aston Villa Wembley 71, brought out by the players. We have 2 of the players in the studio today as our guests. On the right, George Curtis, the club captain, with him, David Gibson, with the pair of them, of course, Jimmy.
Well, in fact, George, I'm very pleased to see you here today for many reasons, but for the viewers to explain, I think this man did more to get Coventry from the 3rd to the 1st Division than I did myself. And I'm not surprised, George, that Aston Villa's fortune have taken a turn for the better since you've been there. But realistically, have you got a chance next Saturday afternoon?
Well, as you know yourself, we've always got a chance. The match is never lost until it's finished.
But Spurs are in brilliant form at the moment, and Aston Villa didn't play very well yesterday.
No, but we've played well against Manchester United and any team hiring us, and I can't see why we can't play well against Tottenham.
Yeah. David Gibson, hero of Leicester fans, would you agree with George?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think anybody that's seen the 2 Manchester United games must give us a chance. I would give us more than a chance.
You mean your favourites?
Well, not really.
Well, now let's look at your performance yesterday. I know you had certain ideas about this. You thought that the goalkeeper, or one or two of the lads thought the goalkeeper was to blame, John Dunn, who was with Chelsea, of course, for 3 of the goals. Now we can have a look at it, and I think you'll agree that on the first one here, which was from a corner, there's some element of a mistake.
Yeah, John Dunn comes out and misses it, and Jones is climbing now, as you can see, above the defenders, and puts it in the far corner. But there, John's coming out with his back turned.
Yeah.
So you must sort of put the blame on John there.
And there's that little gesture. He knows he's made a mistake.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between making one mistake and being responsible for all 3 goals. And it would be a very bad thing, I think, if a goalkeeper came to Wembley feeling he'd had an atrocious game the week before.
Well, I think it would be, because he's your last line of defence, so you've got to pluck him up as much as possible.
Yeah, yeah. Well, in fact, we can look at the second goal now from Berry and see, I think, that he wasn't as much to blame as people imagine. In fact, I don't think he's to blame at all for this. Here's the move.
Jones has got the ball now. He's just beat Charlie Aiken, played it back. Now they're coming into the box. And they've just passed. Now there's 3 of their players against 2 of ours. He gets it from about 5 yards outside the 6-yard box.
Goalkeeper, no chance at all for that.
No chance at all.
What about 3 against 2? That's a bit dangerous these days. Do you normally do that, your defensive Villa?
No, it's the first time I've seen them do it for about 10, 12 matches. It's very unusual. I don't think they'll do it next Saturday.
Was there mind on next Saturday when that happened?
Mine could have been. You never know.
David, what about the battle between Andy Lockhead and Peter Collins?
Well, I think Andy's played there before and he's got a lot of experience, and I think Tottenham will have their work cut out. We looked at fault here with high crosses to the far post, and I think this is one of our strengths. Plenty of Andy Lockhead. I think yesterday he was at the far post and nodded one back and in the net. So I think Collins will have his work cut out.
Yeah. Well, we can have a look at that now. There's Anderson crossing the ball, and we show the power of Lockhead in the air. There he is, just passing the post there, rises beautifully. What about that header? In fact, it was an own goal in the end, but it was that header, of course, that made it.
I think you'll notice as well, Jim, that Pat McMahon was in there at the kill as well. If this fella hadn't scored it, McMahon would have been there.
Yeah, that is a bit of your typical combination. I know you're impressed with the way he picks up Lockhead's header.
Yeah, I think this fella's got a great flair for it. He puts me in mind a lot of Martin Peters. He's got this gift to be in the goal mouth when the ball's coming in, and you can mark these fellas, or managers tell players, now make sure you mark McMahon's and Peters. But these fellas just have this flair to be in there, and they always seem to get their 10 or 15 goals a season.
Well, that's something Spurs have got to watch out for next week. But the last goal was a typical, wonderful goal, in fact, a near-post goal, which would have graced any ground, Wembley included. And I wouldn't blame the goalkeeper for this one either. Let's have a look at this now. As good a goal we've seen of this type.
The ball's played up to the wing there, and he's beaten Brian Tyler. Ryan sort of tries to tackle him, and just misses his tackle. And he brings it out.
Fights well there.
Fights well, and he plays it across goal.
But look at Tommy White.
Fred Turnbull goes up and misses it, and Tommy White, great diving header.
Well, that's the brother of the late John White, Tommy White, who used to be at Blackpool as well, and Crystal Palace, I think. You know, quite a player. But we haven't got to worry about that now. What you've got to worry about is Spurs. What really impressed you in the Spurs side?
Well, I think the match will be won or lost by both defences. You know, Spurs like to use the eyeball, and they've got 2 good people up front, and Aston Villa the same. Yeah. And I think whichever defence masters the other forward line will win it.
Well, I saw Spurs against Nottingham Forest last week, and in it, not for your benefit, but it turns out to be for your benefit, I saw one of the most brilliant flashes of football that I've seen for a long time. It typifies the Spurs style, typifies their ability to think quickly and lay the ball out about first time. Just watch this now, how many first-time passes there are, how quickly their minds work. They're all first time. Mullery plays it through first time, doesn't need to control it first. That was slightly adrift, that, but when you play it as quickly as that, you're going to make some mistakes. Look at this delicate touch. That one went wrong, but then they get it back again, and they're back into their old rhythm. This is the sort of thing you're going to have to defend against next week. And finally, their ability off the knee to set up that shot. Chivers and Peters, tremendous understanding. That's going to be quite a problem. Can you think of any ideas how you would stop that?
No, not really. We're not afraid of any team. We give every team respect, but you know, we're not afraid of them. And we shall go out on the day, the players will, the lads, and just give their best. And I'm sure it could be just a bit too much for Spurs.
Wonderful. I'm sure they're sitting shivering at home this afternoon. David, could you pick a player to watch next week, a special player?
Yeah, I would think Willie Anderson in our team. I think this fella's a great player. He did well. He come from Manchester United to Aston Villa, and I think he had a couple of lean years there. And Vic Rose took over, and he's found himself again. I like this lad. He can take this ball up to full-backs and go past them. He can ghost past them. And here, I think he'll cause Tottenham a great deal of trouble.
Yeah, well, it'll be good to see. He's got long hair as well. He's got
long hair like George Best, and he's just as good.
George Curtis, your player to watch next week?
Well, I was going to say Andy Lockett, but I think Brian Godfrey would cause him a little trouble in midfield.
A Welsh international player.
International. He's a very good player. He was a centre-forward at one time with Preston.
And got a tremendous shot.
And they've converted him to wing-half now. And he gets through no end of work. And he's a very good tackler, you know, for a forward, which he used to be. And I think he perhaps upset 1 or 2.
Well, I think, Jimmy, as well, I think Wembley being an open game will help us as well. You know, it's frustrating for our lads to play in the 3rd division, playing against packed defences. And I think it's an open game. McMahon and Anderson, Hamilton, Bruce Rioch shot, we've a good chance.
What a salesman you are. I'm fascinated by the prospect of next week, but thank you very much for coming down to London, all the way down here. But I think you've gone back with a better idea of what happened yesterday than you had before. Thank you, anyway.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Thank you.
I'm getting quite excited about getting there at Wembley myself next week. And remember, you can see it on ITV next Sunday afternoon. News from the Spurs camp. Pat Jennings crashed into a goalpost at Newcastle yesterday. Sore neck this morning. Says that he should be fit for next Saturday. No other Spurs injuries. Let's now have a look at your letters. Of course, they came by hand, and several of them referred to Brentford's defeat in the Cup at Hull last Saturday. Mr. R.T. Couch of Kenton in Middlesex was convinced that the Hull goalkeeper, Ian McKechnie, took more than the allowed 4 steps before he cleared the ball, from which Hull eventually got their winner so late in the game. Mr. Gosling of Chessington in Surrey was another who agreed. Let's count McKechnie's steps. This is the incident now. Here's McKechnie with the ball. Let's count these steps. There's 1 step. Remember, he's allowed 4. There's 2 steps. There's 3 steps. There's 4. There's 5. There's 6. And there's 7. So the game should have been stopped there and then. It was from that clearance, of course, that Hull got their winner. Meanwhile, there was an infringement at the other end of the field. Ken Wagstaff said this in Monday's Daily Mail. I knocked the ball out of his hands with my elbow. He came out of the goal area and he was in the air when I challenged him. I crashed into him and the ball hit me on the side of the elbow. Let's pick that one up now. Here's the move building up again. There's the cross. The Brentford goalkeeper committing himself to it. You'll find that Wagstaff is the leading Hull player coming in on this one. There you can see an elbow going into the goalkeeper. I'm not sure that his elbow hits the ball, but in fact the ball runs loose here for Houghton. It looks definitely as though the goalkeeper was impeded there. There's Hull's winner with just 2 or 3 minutes remaining. But the clear fact is, even if that wasn't a clear fact, the clear fact is that Ian McKechnie at the other end took at least 7 steps, and the game should have been stopped there. Well, as John Alderton, who was Hull's #1 fan, said to me yesterday when I told him we were going to show this, he said, whatever you say on your programme tomorrow, the result will stay the same. And Hull, of course, are into the 6th round. But after all that, then we go to our next game on the programme today, which is up in the Midlands. It's Stoke against Chelsea. The pictures come from ATV. The commentator is Hugh Johns. And, of course, Chelsea here are the team in the all-dark strip. We pick it up in the second half.
Now Chelsea taking it up through Hudson. Is Weller. Weller running right into trouble and taken out by... And he's onside. Conroy's onside. Surely a goal. Yes. Terry Conroy. Terry Conroy. The scorer, the Stoke fans rising to him. Chelsea caught absolutely square there. Paychick, the through ball. Smith for Conroy. Conroy's skating on with Webb chasing him. Good ball for Harry Burrows. The cross, Conroy! What a great little drive by Terry Conroy, there he is. By golly, how this Chelsea defence is being torn about now. Keith Weller. Smethurst and Hutchinson forward. There's Hutchinson. Great chance here. Until Banks came. That's the sort of save that makes him the best goalkeeper in the world. Hutchinson. Hutchinson coming from deep as Cook's gone through the middle. Good return ball for Hutchinson. Wonderful save again by Banks. Gordon Banks. Twice, he says, they handle the ball as they came through. Here's the corner, the second one for Chelsea in this half. Smith in trouble, Terry Smith, it's there. Hutchinson got it. John Hollins. Hudson starting a run. And running hard and fast. Bernard with him, Hudson still going. Hudson now. Banks got a touch. Hudson still there. No, he's not given it. Referee Tommy Dawes has not given it. He's given the foul. Chance for Stoke to open it up. Played it through the middle when it was too crowded with defenders. Hudson. Oh, neat bit of football by Aaron Hudson. Faced by Bernard. Hollins moving to his right. There's John Hollins. Harris to his right again.
Hollins ready to take it back. Harris has gone for the return. Harris, all did well. And it's a goal. It's gone straight in the net from Harris. Banks looked as though he got a touch to it, but it's gone straight in the net. They're giving the praise to Smothers, so maybe he got a touch.
So, victory for Chelsea. That's it. Don't forget, On the Ball comes direct from Wembley Stadium next Saturday lunchtime, that is, when we're doing the Football League Cup final, which you can see exclusively on ITV next Sunday afternoon. And for viewers in the London area, a new start time, 2:15 permanently now, for the big match starting next Sunday. Get Mum to get Sunday lunch a little bit earlier. Tell her we'll have a film for her after the football. We leave you, of course, with a goal, that controversial one, scored by Rodney Marsh for Queen's Park Rangers against Hull yesterday.
Stopped, but Rangers throw. Crossed again there for Marsh at the far side. Marsh! There it is!